Sonic Lab
TV.
This is the Yamaha NS10M. It's a kind of legendary near-field monitor that was used by many studio engineers and music-making professionals during the 80s, 90s, and even to this day. It's a passive design. Things have moved on since this speaker was first introduced. It's now been discontinued. And today I'm looking at the Yamaha MSP5. This is a 5-inch active speaker. Active meaning it's got a built-in amp and power supply. You plug your mains in here, you plug your signal in here, and you turn it on and you're good to go. You don't need any other cabling. It's got a 5-inch subunit and a 1-inch metal dome tweeter. Power rating is 67 watts. That's 40 watts for the bass driver and 27 watts for the tweeter. On the back panel, connections are via XLR and balance jack. You've also got high and low trim, which give you plus or minus 1.5 top end adjustment and plus 1.5 and down to minus 3 dB of low end adjustment. Now, the reason I sound like I'm straining while I'm talking to you is because this is incredibly heavy. This single speaker weighs 8.8 kilograms. That's in the box, but that's just a bit of cardboard and some polystyrene. So a pair of them is going to be well over 17 kilograms for the two, which for a speaker of this size is pretty incredible. I think it's partly due to the fact that there's this enormous heatsink on the back, which obviously is integral to the design. Another thing that's worth mentioning, if you're going to be moving it around, is the power supply is not switchable. This is a single mode power supply, which means basically if you plug in anything other than the rating specified on it, it won't work. This one I've got is a 230 volt, so I guess it's UK specific. So if you're going to be moving it between territories that maybe have different voltages, you might want to think again. The bass port is on the front, which I like. On a speaker this size, sometimes you can't really tell what's going on down below. So getting a gust of air wafting through your hair, even if you've got as little as I have, really helps you gauge that there is quite a lot of energy down there that perhaps you can't hear. Also like the fact that the volume control is on the front. I like to be able to reach, hold and change it as I like. One thing I don't like is the main switches on the back. I like to be able to just reach and switch them off. Don't like to have to fiddle around and see where it is. I don't know why more people don't put them on the front. I think that's a good place for them to be, frankly. Interesting ad campaign there, and one that is actually refreshingly honest, because studio monitors are intentionally a different beast to general speakers. General speakers are supposed to sound nice and sweet and not be, make people dance, not people go, ooh, I don't like the sound of that. Studio monitors, however, are supposed to reveal the inadequacies of a mix. And in fact, it used to be said of the NS10s, if your mix sounds good on NS10s, it'll sound good on anything else. The MSP5s have a similar philosophy, and they do sound in some ways quite similar, in that if you've got a bad mix, it will sound really bad. It just doesn't sound pleasant. You've got to work hard to get a mix sounding good on the these Yamaha speakers. If you just want a pair of speakers to hook up to your computer and listen to low-grade MP3s through, do not buy these speakers. They are not for you. If you want a pair of speakers that are going to help you get a better mix, make you work hard to do so, then the MSP5s are something that you might want to consider. They are actually studio monitors in every sense of the word. With only the 5-inch driver, the bottom end is a little hard to decipher sometimes. They're not flattering or enhanced in any way. So if you're doing a lot of work which requires detail in the bass, you're either going to need a self-powered subwoofer, or you might want to consider the Yamaha MSP7s, which is the big brother of these with a 7-inch bass driver. These speakers are sold separately. This is partly because you might want to include them in a 5.1 surround sound system. So they're going to set you back $299 US, 339 euros, or 205 UK pounds. I've seen them online for $249 and similarly discounted European and UK prices. Really, these speakers are not for everybody. I think if you're used to the Yamaha sound and you hanker for the NS10s and the challenge that they set you for a mix, which does, like I say, make you work harder and will result in you mixing more effectively, then these are the speakers for you. My advice is to try them first and see how you get on with them.